we will talk about, this is a second session of Basic Understanding of Mineral Kingdom series. Today we will talk about rose. Myself, Dr. Yamini Ramesh, and I welcome you all on behalf of Homeopathic Junction and Dr. Chen. So this is a summary of what we did in the last session. So basically, mineral feels that I need to complete myself, or at least I conserve what I have. I have to save what I have. All the actions of mineral are directed towards this end. Or mineral remedies are always concerned about structure. So in structure also there are two types of reaction. One is either they are lacking something, or on the other hand, whatever they had, now they are losing it. So either they don't have the ability to deal with whatever problem they have, or they had this ability but now again they don't have the ability. So both the issues or both the facets of losing or lacking the structure is there. What is the experience of the situation, any situation in minerals? So for minerals, it has completed me or depleted me. For example, joining this seminar has contributed to completing my personality. This was one example which I gave you. So for mineral, relationships are very, very important. And they always, tend to feel that what do I get from them? What do I lose due to them? I need a person for my security. I need him for nourishment. I need him for, this is my responsibility. Like in the last lecture, I have given you an example of a father who always thinks that, my son is my responsibility. So I have to, complete this. Or a arsenic person can think about anyone that they are there to rob me. They are just taking away all my money, my security and everything, and that's why he become very, very miser. Experience, like for example, if you take this terrorist attack of 26/11 global event, the experience of a mineral will be, it is a loss of structure because Mumbai is a financial capital of India, and we could lose a power or a position. This is just an example. So mineral remedy will always feel that हमारा structure चला गया, अभी क्या होगा? How would we cope with this? So this was the thing which I have already shared with you. Now I want you to think and interact with me during this whole lecture presentation, that what you think about whatever mineral can feel or might be feeling. So you must be knowing about the developmental staging of everything of human life, or of any event or anything. There is always a development going on. So this picture is very viral on internet. Many of you must be having this picture on their WhatsApp status or Insta status or somewhere. These in first stage we are kids or toddlers, and we are laughing and just enjoying life. In the next stage we go to school and we learn, and we acquire some qualities, degrees or anything, and then the marriage happens, and then the adulthood comes where children come into your life. You strive for job, career and everything, and there's one stage where you become very, very affectionate, compassionate, kind of slow, a little bit slow in the senescence of the life, the last stage of life, and the death happens, and then again the life starts in the womb. This is a life. This is a developmental staging. Similarly, like universe, we have all read the universal laws, where it starts with the crust, and then other layers come, and then the atmosphere come, and then the galaxies come, like this. So everything is in a development. So can you see in the first picture also there were 7 stages, so 7 pictures you can count. And in this picture also, actually there are 7 things in this picture, but one we cannot see, that is the stage of a womb, where you are just a fetus. You cannot see that, but that stage is there. So it starts with being a product of a conception or fertilization, to the age where you're just near the death. So the 7 stages are there. So what is the life stages? One is infancy. Infancy means from birth to 1 year, or actually conception to 1 year, that is infancy, or in the womb and outside the womb. Then early childhood, then late childhood, adolescence, early adulthood, middle adulthood, and late adulthood. So these are basically everything. My point here is to convey that everything happens in 7 stages, and life itself has 7 stages. Like in Hindu mythology, we say, Sat Fere, Sat Rang, Sat Vachan, and 7 stages. So 7 is a very important number. You can see the universal concept of 7 is there. So life happens in 7 stages. Likewise, if you see the mineral kingdom, the periodic table, there are 7 rows, okay, which corresponds to the developmental stages of life, according to Jan Scholten and Dr. Rajan Shankaran, who has worked thoroughly on mineral kingdom. So this is also a one corollary which I have taken, that if you plant a seed, if you take a business model, you just think about the idea first. The idea comes up in the mind, and then people start working, or one person starts working, and initially what the business is called, startup. The startup term is very common these days, and then the startup grows. It just grows just like a seed. Some branches come, then it becomes established little bit, and you start earning money, and then you expand, you have franchisees, and the business outside country, outside city, and then it becomes matured like an established organization. You can take an example of Tata's and Reliance Foundation, or Adani's, and any startup or any business model, if you see, and at the end it just exits, it just ends. Sometimes this happens, that either it ends or it transforms into something else, and then again this whole life journey starts with first stage, and this is how life goes on. So here, if we talk about the mineral kingdom, these 7 rows in the mineral kingdom also corresponds to 7 stages of life. We call it from womb to tomb, and the periodic table is also a replica of development of a person, starting from conception to fetal life, to birth, to infancy, to childhood, teenage years, adulthood, and then finally old age and death. So we can identify the row by knowing in which stage of development an individual is stuck in. So guys, I want to tell you that, we all might be of certain life stage according to our age, but what you will see in homeopathic practice is, when you talk to a person or your patient, you will see that his age might be like 40 years or 50 years, or 60 years, whatever it is. He is stuck up in one developmental stage, mentally and morally, not physically. We are not talking about the physical developmental age. This is just a example to to tell you that this is how we see periodic table, and this is how yesterday no, not yesterday, I always say yesterday, in the last session someone was asking me that how it comes in circle. So I want to tell you, when a toddler becomes a child, or a teenager becomes an adult, can you see that there is huge change? No, we just see the transformation, just without numbers, without counting on numbers, whether it is 19 or 20, you won't see much change in that individual. You will only see that, yes, now this person has become adult. So physically, of course, you can see and tell them that this is your age, but mentally or physically, mentally or emotionally, you won't see that drastic change, or differential change, where you can actually tell that whether it is teenage, or adulthood, or early adulthood, or late adulthood. So similarly, you have to see in a patient that where the person has been stuck in the developmental stage. So I will give you an example. This of one of my case. So this lady comes to me at the age of 59 or 60, something like that, 50, late 50s. And I asked her, she had this problem of dysentery. And I asked her that, tell me about yourself and how your nature is. So she said, yeah, doctor, my husband passed away 5 years ago, and he had some heart problem, and since then I am suffering from this these health issues. And then I asked that, what is that which you miss the most about your husband? So she said, till he was alive, he used to, choose my clothes, what to wear. He used to feed me food. And though I'm well to do, I mean, we were okay financially, and we had a son who's an engineer who lives in Bangalore. And we were alone, we were living here, but he used to take care of everything about me, my clothes, my makeup, or my food and everything. And he used to love me a lot. He used to tell me on daily basis that, do this breakfast, make this, and he used to feed me by his hand. So I was so much surprised. And internally I was thinking that though this lady is 59 years old, but at the age of 55 years also, she wanted to be, be pampered by her husband as a child wants to be. What we do with the child, we, hugs him, kisses, and we feed him with our hand. A child is not able to, feed himself. And we choose the clothes of a child. The child won't rebel then कि मुझे यही पहनना है, मुझे नहीं पहनना है. Mother chooses, and the child is okay with that most of the times when he's an infant. So this lady actually wanted love, care, and nourishment, like third row of periodic table. And that's how I prescribed her, I guess, natrum mure or something like that. But I prescribed her a remedy from third row itself. So at the age of 50, the physical age doesn't matter. That is what I wanted to convey you. But how the person is behaving and at what stage of development he is stuck in, that you have to see. So their relative development or undevelopment in particular issue will decide the column. So first you need to know about the row, and then we will talk about the column. So here you just have to remember what is row. So I will tell you. If you see in a row, see, like, if you are able to see my screen, look at the first row. Only two remedies are there. On the left side, there is hydrogen, and on the right side, on 18th column, there is helium. So if you take an example of likewise third row, natrum, magnesium, alumina, silicate, and phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon. So on the left side of the periodic column, they experience a lack of structure because I told you about the alkali metals. They are actually in the process of forming a bond or becoming stable. So on the left side, they are more unstable, and in the middle they will become little successful, little stable, because their valencies are also not very unstable. And on the right side, you see the experience of losing or loss of the structure. So on the left side, they did not have anything, any capacity. In the middle, they are just achieving it, gaining it. And on 10th column is known as summit column. So on 10th, you will see that the remedies like palladium and platina, which requires a lot of attention, and there is huge ego, and all these things where they feel little stable. And on the right side also, you can remember the example of arsenic or phosphorus, where they feel my structure is shattering, I'm just losing what I had. That's how we see a row. So this is the relation which you keep in your mind related to row. So row 1 belongs to first stage of life. So what is the first stage of life? You need to know that. That is conception, of course. The sperm and the ovum mates and gets fertilized, and then it becomes an embryo. So from embryo, from the very first day of life, of existence, the life starts, and that is all about row 1. So row 1 is about conception and existence. So only two remedies are here, hydrogen and helium. So you must be knowing that in the sun there is a fission and fusion processes going on, especially the fission. All the hydrogen is combining with the other atom of hydrogen, and they become two because the atomic number of hydrogen is 1, and they become two and they want to become helium. So all the hydrogen is breaking it, joining and becoming helium, and helium is breaking into hydrogen. This is a process of the whole sun. And then we come to row 2. So we will talk about the remedies. I will tell you about the remedies. I'm just giving you an overview about all the rows. So row 1 is about conception and existence. Row 2 is about fetal life and birth process, because birth process, we call it in Hindi second janam, naya janam. So it's not second janam, it's first janam. But janam hone mein bahut takleef hoti hai. There is huge process, birth process. So being part within and separating. So till then, in first row, you were part of something bigger, the universe. The universe here is your mother, and now you're becoming one. You are becoming separate, and now the world, you will see the world with your own eyes. So fetal life and birth process. Row 3 is all about identity. So when you will become separate from your mother, you will see that what identity. सबसे पहले बच्चे के साथ क्या होता है? We give him name. So नामकरण है ना? This is row 3, identity. And what a child needs for being able to survive in this world? Only identity, love, care and nourishment. What we do with the infant, we take a lot of care of an infant, and we provide everything. He cannot sit, he cannot talk, and he cannot do anything on his own. He even cannot go to loo on his own. But what a mother does, mother provides everything to him. So what is that basic need which mother provides? That is love, lot of care and food. So food is nourishment. So row 3 is identical with identity, food, care, nourishment. Then when a child becomes, say, 4-5 years old or 6 years old or a little better, what comes to our mind is, if we see a life staging, then we send him to school, and then he sees his own social circle, and then he learns new things, he perform his daily tasks, he is able to go to the loo on his own, he is able to feed himself. So this identity, love, care, nourishment is done now, and then he is going to a stage where security or task is needed. So he would, and then when a person becomes teenager, or in the early adulthood, he would look for job and security and structure, and he would do his daily tasks which is assigned to him, and that is very, very important for him. So row 4 corresponds to security and task. Similarly, when he is done with getting a job, getting good salary, making home, getting married, then what he would think? He would think about doing something innovative. When you are secured from financial side, what do you think? You always think that अब मुझे कुछ नया करना चाहिए, because अभी मेरी ज़रूरतें पूरी हो रही है, my needs are taken care of, so I need to do something new. So new is always creative, and now the performance is very, very important. So they look towards how my performance is. My job तो मुझे मिल गया है. In the college you only think about opening the clinic, and when you actually open the clinic and your clinic is settled in, say, 3-4 years, 5 years, and after 5 years you think, no, now I want to learn Dr. Gandhi's approach. Now I would like to go to Jan Scholten school, or say Misha Nolan school. That is how we think. And that is a row 5 thing, creativity and performance. And then you know, show up your cases, you write research articles, you send your articles to the reviewed journal, and you start taking classes and you perform very well. So this is a creativity and performance row 5. And when you're done with, you know, creatively innovatively doing anything, then you start taking responsibilities of other people also belonging to either your commune or your community. And then you start taking responsibility of society or people around you. If we take an example of homeopaths, what they do, you know, they, like Dr. Shankaran, we can see him, you know, he is a very creative person. He has um, he, he has made a lot of concepts and written so many books, and he's still trying to do everything. Now he's teaching everywhere, you know, sharing his articles, taking the responsibility of the other homeopaths, and you know, sharing his own insights about homeopathy and about practice and everything. So this responsibility comes here. Similarly, in the old age, if we see our parents, what they do, you know, they take care of you. They would help you in taking important decisions. कौन सा property खरीदना है, कब शादी करना है. So they always see their children as their responsibility. So row 6 is all about responsibility. You can also remember the example of Aurum, which is a king. So king never thinks about only his family. You know, the king always thinks about the whole praja, everyone in his own jurisdiction. And row 7, when you are done with everything, you had the security, you have performed well, you have taken the responsibility, and then this, you know, this stage comes where you want to let go everything. You just let go. You are not attached and anyways. And integration or disintegration, this is a stage of a moksha. So the stage you will see very, this row you will see in practice very rarely, because at in this row or in this stage, people won't come to you. They would go to, you know, Himalayas and become sages. So it is not that useful for us. 6 rows are very important for us. You might see someone rarely in your practice, and if you see, please share with us. That will be really nice. Okay, so first 3 rows corresponds to childhood, starting from conception, then birth, separation, and developing a special identity. First 3 rows. From the 4th row onwards, the issues are related to more like, you know, adulthood: security, protection, finding a job, money, performing, taking responsibility. As far as children are concerned, we see in them a linear growth. If you see, you know, first 3 rows, you will see a linear growth. But right from conception to fetus, develops in the womb, and then finally separates. ऐसा होता है. But when you will actually solve cases beyond row 3, it will be little complicated. That's why someone was asking me that how to differentiate rows 4 and row 6, because many of their issues will be same. I will tell you in the end. Don't worry, I will tell you that. But I'm just telling you that, you know, it's easy to understand first 3 rows, or I don't say understand, but it is easy to see that, you know, there is only linear growth. There are not many dimensions. And in other rows, there are many dimensions. Whereas in adult life, it start with no capacity to earn, then we reach the peak, then start losing the capacity to earn. We start with wanting support, reach a stage where there is no support, and then again go back to wanting a support. You know, this is how life is. This upward and downward process applies to adulthood. And similarly in creativity, we start with lack of creativity. पहले कुछ नहीं है, art सीखना है, art के लिए inclination है, and we reach the peak. Just a minute. Okay. So my screen, are you able to see my screen? Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. I thought it's not visible. So there is an upward and downward progression. Just a minute. Okay. So we will talk about individual rows now. First rows to seventh rows. First row to seventh row. So first row is all about existence and birth. So these remedies will come to you, and I'm telling you that so far this is my experience, that if you know, they talk very bizarre and very vague. So if these type of remedies come to you, the patients come to you, it is might possible, it is very much possible that you won't understand anything, because they are, you know, they are still not born in this world, so they don't know the language of this world. And they are coming from, you know, far universe. You know, the hydrogen and helium, there is a lot of helium in our atmosphere, hydrogen is also there, but we don't know the elemental form of hydrogen and how it you know, exhibits itself in the nature. So hydrogen and helium, they would talk about existence and birth. So because we understand only human language, we don't understand the language of the womb. They might tell you about the darkness, the detachment, and the attachment, and you know, and their dreams are also very dark and not from this universe. So these are little difficult remedies to identify. But still, I am telling you that this first row, very rarely you will see these remedies in practice, because hydrogen helium cases, I have seen only 2 or 3 cases in my 12 years of practice, very rarely, and out of them one was of my master. So two were of my mind cases. So existence and birth are the main issues for this row. And if we talk about the first row, hydrogen, it has to do with the conception. It has question of existence. They will ask, am I or am I not? मैं exist भी करता हूँ या नहीं? I don't know this. They have great desire for unity, experience deep love for every living being on this earth, wholeness and totality. I had one case of hydrogen, I can tell you, that this lady, she was, it was a case of an anxiety disorder, so far I remember. And she told me that, doctor, I really like meditation and I do meditation for 7 to 8 hours a day. And she was living in with her boyfriend, and she said, I have changed 3 boyfriends till now, and she was only 23 or 24 years old when she came to me. And she said, I just want to become one with someone, and these people, I don't know, I just don't understand them, or it might be of other kind of, but they don't understand me. Whatever I speak or whatever I say let's meditate, they don't understand. Just go here and there, and I become so one with universe. I really like. And she used to watch sun for hours and hours together. So it was a long case, but what I got from her cases, that the they don't understand the concept of time and space. That's very difficult for them, but they have this experience of deep love for every living being on this earth, wholeness and totality, because they are so one with universe, so one with their mother. So they do not think about ye mera hai, ye iska hai. And in this lady's case also, this 3 breakups happened in her life because the boyfriend couldn't understand that what the hell she was talking about. That was the case. Then it is the phase. The first row is the phase that corresponds to that of the unborn child. The unborn child does not exist but doesn't do anything yet. Okay, so now we will talk about the second row. So in first row, you have seen that the question of existence and birth was there. So whether I exist or not was the question in the first row. Now the the situation of separation comes here into the picture, where the baby gets separated, now are getting separated from the mother. Now the same womb which was providing everything, nourishment and care and warmth, is now suffocating, so the baby has to get separated, and whole birth process you will see in second row. So this is also known as carbon series. Carbon is a signature remedy here. So on the left side, you will see lithium, beryllium, and boron. And I don't know how I couldn't highlight them. Lithium, beryllium, and boron. And in the middle, you will see carbon. And then right side, you will see nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon. So in the second row, you will see that the person now knows he is an entity. He is someone. But am I part of something or am I separate is the question. So am I part of the same womb which was providing me the nourishment and everything I wanted, or am I a separate entity? Because now I am getting separated from the mother. So you will see on lithium, beryllium, boron, left-sided remedy, there is no separation, there is only dependency. Independent existence is just started, so no separation at all. They are completely dependent. You will see, you must have read this symptom of borax, the fear of downward motion, because the when the birth of a baby happens, so what happens with the fetus is fetus has to go down in the birth canal. It is a downward motion, and we're not ready for that, because the baby might be thinking in the mind that whether I will be able to cope with whatever situations outside is there or not, and whether I'm going to live anymore or not, is there an end of my life or whatever, that type of things. So there is no separation, no dependency, and they would fear. They are very, very fidgety remedies, frightful remedies, or a lot of fears and a lot of dreams, delusions come here. Lithium, beryllium, and boron, they are main remedies for all the mental diseases. Carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen, little on the right side. Separation develops further. After carbon, you will see there's oxygen, so all the oxides, all the acids will have the oxygen, and all the oxides also has the oxygen element in them. So what baby does after coming into this world? He breathes, and what he breathes is oxygen. So his first cry is equal to the oxygen, and then comes nitrogen. So you will see a lot of claustrophobia and gasping and need of the air, need of the fresh air is there in the nitrogen. You will see this in remedies like argentum nitricum, kali nitricum, calcarea nitricum, nitric acid, and nitrogen itself. So they also gasp air because they are just separated. They need that, and claustrophobia also comes there. So argentum nitricum people, they are not able to go into the lift. So separation develops further. The theme of separation and theme of I am not getting enough air is there. In fluorine, they must break this attachment. So like I said, that in the second row, the same womb which was providing the nutrition and everything is now suffocating, and because it is suffocating, they have to break this attachment and become completely free. So fluorine is a halogen, and it's the most volatile halogen. It doesn't remain with anything, they just want to break free. Now comes third row. So third row is also known as natrum series. So when a baby is born, what is the first thing which we do? We name him or her. That is namkaran. We call it namkaran. So what happens in third row is they strive for identity, and what they need here is love, care, and nourishment. Food is main thing which is a need of a baby, and second is they need a lot of attention. So what type of attention? You have to kiss a baby, hug a baby, in a whole day you have to do it at least 25 times a day, and that's how he feels that comfort. The mother has to take him in lap, and mother has to take a very, very, very good care of a baby, because he is outside the womb, but he's still not independent. Of course he has named, but he is not independent at all. So In the third row in the Natrum series, you will see identity issues, care, nourishment, love, and that's why Natrum Mure or any Natrum, they feel disappointed very easily. Magnesium has this orphan feeling. And why it is there? Because they still crave the care and nourishment, and that's the basic need of them. So developing, here they develop, they assert their choices. So now they are someone with one name, say like, if I am Yamini, I know what choices I have. So if I am in third row, I would think about, who I am in relation with others, finding out my own position. The area now from mother to now area is the whole house, the immediate neighborhood, the friends, the cousins, siblings, or mom, dad, like this. So area increases to include their own house and immediate neighborhood. So they establish relationship with people, they make new friends, develop and express their ability to do things on themselves. They imitate and they do things on themselves. They become very conscious of self and about the impression of others on him. I am separate, but who I am. That's the question here. So if you see remedies here, left side में sodium magnesium alumina, and in sodium magnesium alumina you will see identity is not developed completely, they are dependent on others, and that's why they are known as alkali metals, the sodium and magnesium. So they make a lot of salt, and why they make salts is because they need that partner. It could be chlorine, fluorine, iodine, anyone from halogen, or some other groups also. So for being independent, or being able to function, they need support of someone, and that's why they're dependent on others. For that, they have not developed the full identity. So they would talk a lot about support. Alumina is also a very unstable remedy, always in dilemma, doesn't know what to do, don't have that much clear choices. Silica is in the summit column, which is 10th column. So now this is the row where the identity is developed a little bit, and that's why they have fixed identity. Silica people are very fixed thoughts. Yeah. And phosphorus has his own identity apart from what is given, so he asserts his choices, and that's why phosphorus is very communicative, because now he knows who he is, and now he wants to communicate with other group members, and he's very jovial kind of person who just goes and makes his own presence in the crowd itself. And sulfur is exactly opposite. Sulfur has identity, but it further goes to ego. So in sulfur, you will see this symptom, foolish ego. And in chlorine, all the halogens you will see, they are completely opposite. So they are completely now like fluorine, I told you. Fluorine just wants to break free. They don't want attachment. In chlorine, you will see completely opposite to given identity. So they have to do exactly opposite what other is saying. So if natrum says, stay here, the chlorine will say, no, let's go. And that's how, natrum chlorine balance each other. So now we come to fourth series. Fourth series is about security and tasks. So when you have your own identity, you are born in the world, you know who you are. What is that thing which you think about? So that is the sense of security comes. You start thinking about whether you have job or not, whether you are able to perform your daily tasks, daily routine or not, whether you are secured or not. Job, money, um, home, and vehicle, and everything. This gives a sense of security to a human being. And before luxury, of course, security comes in. That's why he wants to, buy a house of his own. He wants to perform daily things. He wants to get a very good job. And this is the theme of this whole row, fourth row, that is security and task. So from potassium to krypton, this is the first row where you will see all the elements in all the columns. Okay, so this is the first row for us where we will read about each element in every column. When we will talk about columns, not now, of course. So starting from potassium to krypton, we have remedies like potassium, calcium, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc, gallium, germanium, arsenic, selenium, bromium, krypton. And in all the remedies, like if you take an example of ferrum, so uh, in ferrum, in iron, you will see, where ferrum is used. It is used in a, like I have given you the homework in first section. You have to you have to choose one remedy or one element and see what is where it is used. So if you see iron or cobalt or see copper or calcium, even calcium is one thing which is used in daily routine. So you cannot live without iron. Your whole hemoglobin, the heme part, is made up of iron. So what iron does? It makes you able to function. And what is that function? It is not something, something out of the universe. It is a daily function of eating, of, normal cell structure, of being able to function normally. So that is ferrum. Similarly, calcium. Calcium is the main element in our body required for bone development, for bone growth, for teeth, uh, everywhere it is used. So bone makes our basic structure, and what that structure gives us, that structure gives us strength, security. If your leg is broken, if it doesn't have the calcium, you won't be able to walk. Okay, so that's a kind of daily task which we need to complete. So secure sense of security comes in ferrum series. If you see remedies like kali and calcium, which are left sided remedies in column 1 and 2, you will see it lacks the capacity to protect themselves, and that's why they are dependent on the others, just like other remedies which are in column 1 and 2, like natrium, magnesium, strontium, baryta. Similarly, kali and calcium. If you go a little further to scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, they start developing their own capacity to protect self. They don't have the full capacity, but little better than the calcium or the remedies like potassium. Then if we go little in the middle of the row, manganum, ferrum, cobaltum. Ferrum is an eighth column, which is, I told you, just like a base camp, or just like a remedy or a column which is very near to the summit column. It's almost prepared, but still it has anxiety, or still it has to prove itself. So a lot of perseverance comes here. So manganum, ferrum, cobaltum, niccolum, cuprum, zincum has the capacity to protect themselves, but they have to maintain this. So maintenance of position and then slowly losing it. They start facing the opposition, so their foundation is attacked and defensed. So theme of attack, theme of defense is there. In this row you will see a lot of moral sense, what is right, what is wrong, what should be done, what shouldn't be done, and what is right for the society, what is right for my family, not right for my family. Even if they commit some crime, even if they do something wrong, they will be guilty of it. So you will see in Kali remedies, you will see a lot of guilt, why God is doing this with me. This sense is also there. So it is also between right and wrong. Yeah, so there is also fear related to crime and fear related to police, will you will see in the fourth row. Gallium, germanium, arsenic, selenium, bromium are the right-sided remedy. They just begin to lose their capacity to protect themselves. So you take an example of arsenic, which is a very miser person. He thinks about money, talks money, he thinks about death, and he would, call all the people and he would say that, make my will. I'm not going to live anymore. I'm going to die, and he would really, fight for whatever he has. So he has to secure whatever he has. He doesn't want to lose that, and that is a sense of security in arsenic. So every remedy will have the same theme, just the expression of the theme will be different. So you have to see whenever you are reading these remedies from other books, like Allen's or Chaudhary or Fatak or Borik or whatever common books, you will see that the same theme will be there with expression of different things, or with with different delusions, different dreams, different physical or mental symptoms, but the underlying basic theme will be same. So in selenium also, selenium is the main remedy for male impotency, where they are not able to function, they are not able to perform the task which is routine for them, you know. Same in bromine. Bromine is the main remedy for cough and asthma at the seashore and like this. So you can just compare like this. Now we come to fifth row, that is silver series. So once you're born in this world, you have your own identity, you have the security and protection for yourself and family. Now one comes to a point where they need to prove themselves, or they have to be very creative, and they think about something new which is not routine, because the routine things are set now. Till this time the routine things are not that problematic for a person. Now he comes into the picture and says that, I have to now think creatively. So creativity and performance, and that's why it is called a silver series, because silver has a lot to do with show and performance, and it's a shiny metal. You might have seen tribal people who always wear, argentum, the silver ornaments, not the gold, because one thing is that gold is costly, and other problem with the gold is that it's not that showy. It's it has value, but it doesn't have that much performance. It doesn't, you cannot get noticed for having a gold ornament, but for silver ornament, definitely one would identify you that yes, this is that man or that woman. So that's why this is a row of creativity and performance from rubidium to xenon. Again, this is a second row where you get all the elements and all the columns, all the 18 elements. So rubidium, strontium, yttrium, zirconium, niobium, molybdenum, technetium, ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, silver, cadmium, indium, tin, antimony, tellurium, iodine, and xenon. So from rubidium to xenon, you have all the elements. So they had this theme to of need to explore the new, need to process, to be creative, to perform, and to be appreciated. The appreciation really is needed in this role. So they always improvise, they do research, they do inventions, devise, strategize, plan, solve. So they are the problem solvers, the crisis managers. I would call them crisis manager, because whenever there is crisis, whenever the routine things doesn't work or anything doesn't work, they come and they solve your problem. So this is the theme of the silver series. So you might have read the symptom of argentum, where they say that argentum metallicum has the throat problem, it has aphonia of singers. So why it is written that aphonia of singers, not aphonia simply? Because singers are creative people, they have to improvise a lot, they have to uh, practice a lot. So they are creative, innovative people. So public speakers, singers, and performance. Just like, I will tell you few professions which actually belong to this series, just for understanding. You can, remember this. Just like architects, the planners, the singers, or dancers, or actors, and all these people who have to continuously think. Even the CEOs of the big companies, which provides the kind of tech solutions or any solution to any problem. All the researchers, the scientists, they are from fifth row basically. So if you see remedies from this row, on left side you will see rubidium and strontium, which is in first and second column. The initial of silver series, they lack the capacity to explore the new. Though they are creative, they don't have that much capacity, so they have to depend on others. So strontium carb, you will see that they need a lot of guidance, or some mentor. They should have some mentor who's continuously guiding. So need for mentor, need for guide is there, because they are dependent. They are creative, but they are dependent for taking the confirmation from someone. If you go little in the like in the middle, or a little further, you will see yttrium, zirconium, neobium and molybdenum, they start developing their own capacity to explore the new. So they are more capable than strontium and rubidium, like remedies. Then if you go exactly in the middle, technetium, ruthenium, rhodium, palladium. Palladium is the summit column, then argentum and cadmium. So in these remedies, they have this capacity to perform. They are very good in whatever they do, and that's why palladium you will see in palladium there is a lot of ego, and also they know their worth because they know, what I can do, no one can do. Argentum, you will see a lot of performance anxiety. Whenever they go on stage, they have the problems. So they are very good at what they do, but they have to. The problem now is they have to maintain the capacity which they have. On the right side, you will see indium, stannum, antimony, tellurium, iodine. So these are the right-sided remedies. So they would lose the capacity to be creative and to perform. So you will see, antim crude is the remedy which becomes who becomes sentimental in the moonlight and who writes poetry, and it's a very sad remedy. But it's a very creative remedy. It has the capability or capacity to become a poet or become a writer. Similarly, Stanham mad people are the performers, but somehow they just lose their capacity to perform, and they are generally the public speakers who lose their voice or who lose, the breath during cough. So you will see a lot of cough problems in Stanham and antimony both. So they lost the capacity to be creative and to perform. Now comes sixth row. So in fifth row, you have seen all the remedies or all the characteristics related to creativity, innovation, improvisation, research, and practice, and all these are keywords of fifth row. Now we come to the last row, which is sixth row, gold series. So when a person becomes creative, innovative, he's able to perform. He has done a lot of innovation. Now he thinks about, just giving back to the society or taking the responsibility, because now he's skilled, and that's why the responsibility comes to the picture. He thinks about being in the power, being the leader, being a responsible person. And all this series in the gold series, like you have read in the Aurum, we all have read that Aurum is a king. So what king has to do? King has to think about every citizen living in his own jurisdiction. So king is one person who takes the responsibility, though he has power, but he has the responsibility of taking care of everyone's need. So from cesium to radon, we have all the remedies: cesium, barium, lanthanum. Here comes lanthanides and actinides, which is a separate part because they are the radioactive material. So we won't be talking about the radioactive thing, that is very advanced, and I also don't know much about it. I have used very few lanthanides and actinides. So that's a topic which won't we won't be talking about. So in this sixth series, hafnium, tantalum, tungsten, rhenium, osmium, iridium, platina, gold, mercury, thallium, lead, bismuth, polonium, astatine, and radon is there. So the theme is responsibility, being a leader. They have the identity, they can protect themselves, they are creative, but now they think that I have to take the leadership and responsibility. Need for power, take the responsibility. And they are very heavy metals, guys. You can, just read in the normal chemistry book that they are the heavy metals. Why they are heavy? Because the atomic number is very high. Slowly their weight increases, the atomic weight and atomic number, and they have more number of electrons, and that's why they can withstand very high pressure. They are not easily volatile remedies, not like that. So you must have seen this movie Spider-Man. In Spider-Man, he says that with the power comes the responsibility. So similarly in sixth row, with the power comes the responsibility. So if you see cesium and barium, they lack the power to stand on own, just like other remedies of first and second column. We will talk about the columns in next section. So cesium and barium lack the power to stand on their own. to take the responsibility, and that's why they are dependent. So they would always look up to someone else who can help them in taking or finishing their responsibility. If you go a little further, you see lanthanum, hafnium, tantalum, and tungsten. They start to develop their capacity. So tungsten is one of a remedy which you can read, and it is also a remedy like aurum, and it has all the features of gold series. In the middle, you will see rhenium, osmium, iridium, platina, aurum, and mercury. Everyone has read platina and aurum, and like aurum, we all know that aurum is the king. So aurum has the power to take the responsibility. He's the leader, but the problem in front of him is he has to maintain this leadership. He has to maintain, whatever he is doing, and it's very, very difficult. He has to face a lot of challenges. If you go a little further towards thallium, plumbum, bismuth, polonium, astatine, which is on the right side, so you will see these are very heavy metals. We all have read the plumbum. Plumbum had this paralytic weakness of the ileus. They cannot evacuate their own stool, and that's why there is huge constipation, and even the paralysis of different parts of the body. Same like bismuth, because of the paralysis, the vomiting happens, and the vomiting is very bad, syphilitic. So all these remedies, they start losing their power to take the responsibility. So they are also losing the capability. But though they are the major remedies in the gold series. Okay, so after gold series, we come to the seventh row, the last one, uh, which symbolizes disintegration and death. So after this whole life cycle, what comes is death, because now your weight and the atom's weight and number is so much increased that it can not go further, and now it starts to disintegrate, and that disintegration is also known as radiation, because now it is starting to lose the electrons it has, and that's how the death occurs. So I don't know much about seventh row. I have used once or twice these remedies, so I won't be able to tell you much about seventh row, and still the research is going on, so we might discuss it later. So I told you about the 7 rows of the periodic table. I hope you have got a fair idea about how we see rows, how we use mineral kingdom, and what is the concept of Jan Scholten and Dr. Shankaran. I hope you have understood it. If yes, and if you have any queries, you can write to me. Also, I will give you some homework which you have to finish and send it to me on email, so that I see whether you have understood it or not. Also, this homework will help you to understand how to use mineral kingdom, how to see mineral kingdom in normal cases also. This will really help. So today's homework is you observe 7 people of different age groups, because 7 rows we have studied, so 7 people of different age groups. Note down their 3 features and tell me the corresponding remedy, just according to whatever you understand. Then also try to think, because the whole periodic table is based on this developmental scenario, or the theory of development. So you have to think that whether age has something to do with how a person can feel. So whether the physical age has anything to do with inner age, you have to think and let me know. Just write down and note down. The third thing which you have to do is note down minimum 10 rubrics from any repertory. So you have to name the repertory. Whenever you are doing this homework, please write down the name of the repertory. Write down minimum 10 rubrics of the repertory in which you find 5 mineral remedies. So suppose you take this rubric, uh, ailments from anger, or ailments from anything, or suppose anxiety. So you have to get at least 5 mineral remedies in that. And if not 5, at least 3 mineral remedies. If you don't get 5, that's fine. Try to find out first. And if you don't get, at least 3 remedies should be there. It can be any mineral remedy. Okay, so just do this homework, send it to me on rjyamini@gmail.com. This will really, really help. So please do this homework and send it to me. And in between, we have uploaded all the webinars which we did on our YouTube channel, Asha Homeo Health Center. Let us know how you felt about this series. In next session, I will tell you about the columns, that how to understand the 18 columns, and how to pick up the remedies from rows and columns together. So you have to send me the homework, and at the end, who does the homework very well will also get a gift from us, from Dr. Vaibhav specially. So thank you so much for hearing me patiently. Write to me. Also write down your feedback and comments in the comment box. I will try to answer each one of you. Thanks a lot.